name is Allison Calvert, and I will be the host for this TLC session. We are excited that you have joined us today for Career Planning. There will be detours. Please welcome Becky Kruger and Bill Davis.
Welcome, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and start because I told Becky that I would open, and I'm going to turn it over to her. She is just a super professional, and I've had the pleasure and privilege to know her the past couple of years. And as a matter of fact, I had her in my classroom. So what a pleasure and an honor to share in her learning experience. And let me just give you a quick little history about myself and then how I came to know Becky and how we came for this collaboration. I have been with Ashford University since 2005 when they launched it. And so I've seen a lot of changes. Back then I was an adjunct, a lead faculty. I became an instructional specialist. And as I moved, I gave up my Pepsi-Cola career as an executive. I'd worked my way up the ladder and was very successful. And I decided, with everything I've seen in higher education, to commit the rest of my career to higher ed. So I joined Ashford in 2009 full-time. I made instructor, professor, assistant professor, and program chair. So I'm having a ball paying it forward. I absolutely love teaching, and I love seeing students succeed. That's what drives me. So with that said, I happened to go to the SHRM convention to work with some of my colleagues, Dr. Katie Theory and her team. And I love the tech, social media and everything. So I was out there putting some things on LinkedIn. Becky seen it. She said, Bill Davis, I had him for a class. And the next thing you know, she came over to the booth to meet me and us. And very nice. Next thing you know, I'm presenting for her at her SHRM conference in Bloomington. She has a big job, and she invited me to come down and present. I did, and it was absolutely wonderful. And then from there, we have just kind of stayed connected, and here we are today. So I would like to turn the floor over to Becky Kruger. Becky.
Well, Bill, thank you so much. And I want to thank you for taking the route in your career that led you to me as my instructor for a few business classes and organizational development courses. You required that I change my writing style, and that was one of the greatest gifts in my career, and for that I'm very grateful. So for everybody on the line today, before you sign up for some of your classes, check and see if Bill's teaching. He will not let you down. I am very grateful that we were able to meet up at the SHRM conference in New Orleans, as you mentioned, because as you said, that had led to other professional initiatives, like having you speak at the SHRM conference in Bloomington, Illinois, and we were all very grateful to have you and your colleague speak with over 300 HR professionals. So I was thrilled to get the call that you would like to have me help here today, share some tips and tricks on successful career planning. I got to tell you, career planning in some cases is okay. Something changes. I'm going to have to make an adjustment. But having a clear idea, even if that idea changes about what your career looks like, is very beneficial not only for you but your families and your overall professional success. So. I think we have everybody on the line now, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I think one of the most important front center strategies for a successful career plan, if at all possible, is once you get that clear vision of what success looks like, and for many of us, it may look like, I want to go into teaching. I had a teacher who was a role model for me, and they help develop students and families, and that's what I want to do. Whatever that vision is, get to a place where you write it down what that looks like. I'm just going to share briefly a little bit about my background. I was not a traditional Ashford student. I went to school for 35 years. Yes, you heard that, 35 years. But it was all strategically planned. You know, I did do the get out of high school, go straight to college. Then I was noticed by a director of an a global automotive company as, you know, someone they wanted to put into their succession plan. But their succession plan entailed building an organization from 7 United States automotive plants to 52 in a 7-year period, going from 2,000 employees to 14,000 employees. So I had some detours. I had to put school on hold. You know, my family was growing as well. But I always had the vision, you know, I was going to be the best human resources director that I could be. And I was willing to take those steps to get there. You know, doing so, you've got to, you know, identify what those strengths and weaknesses are and be aware of those and put those in your written career plan. You know, my weaknesses, I felt like I really needed that degree. So it stayed in the weakness bucket, but I never gave up on it. My strengths were I was always willing to do whatever it took to get things done. And the other little secret about that career plan was I was often called the garbage can. Yes, you heard it right. The garbage can. I would take on whatever projects nobody else wanted to do because it was building the value, building my on-the-job education plan, and also building value for the organization. The strategy worked. You know, I think also when you're planning your career plan, you look at your innate skills, you know, those skills that come naturally and easy for you. You know, skills are learned and developed, but there are certain skills that come easy. What comes easy for some people are different from others. And in my path, what came easy for me was organizing, communicating with people, and I was not afraid of technology. I also, for whatever reason, human resources people in my organization wanted nothing to do with benefit management, and so I took on benefits and ended up managing $50 million in Blue Cross Blue Shield medical plans, over $100 million in 401k funds, and said, you know, I can do this. I can manage 14,000 rows of Excel spreadsheets. It's no difference in managing 2. It's just 14,000. So anyways, took on those skills and identified what the skills were that I needed to, you know, be successful. When developing your career plan, you've got to make good choices about where you work, and what the organizational needs are when you make those decisions. Before I turn it over to Bill here, I'm going to share with you, over the years, recruiters would call me and, you know, want me to come to their organization, or a couple of times I applied for some positions in regions that were where I would want to raise my family. And I stayed with that growing automotive manufacturing company that went from a $250,000 organization to a $4 billion organization that you can read about that on the internet, that's been on 60 Minutes and Time Magazine many a times. The organization is called Flex and Gates. Any of you out there looking for jobs in automotive, they are constantly growing and seeking, by the way. But if I would have taken some of those jobs at the other organizations, those organizations, almost every single one of them, with the exception of a private college, they didn't make it. They are no longer in business. So make good decisions about the organizational, your needs in your career, and be clear about what the organization is seeking to hire. So, Bill, you're on.
Well, what Becky is talking about here on the matching your needs to the organizational needs, you know, knowing what you'd like, what the organization would like. You know, that's happened to me several times. It's happened to people that I've mentored. And one thing I always try to do is, you know, encourage people to see what is there at work that they can excel with, and to see the value of that, so you have the commitment and career satisfaction. As a matter of fact, I wrote about that. If you Google the difference between job satisfaction and career contentment, and I believe that's the title, you'll find that article, and just linking to leadership strategies, to culture, to systems, to structure. And when you're satisfied with that and you're aligned with that, you can usually do some great things. So, and I've been fortunate in my career. I know Cindy Combs is in the audience here, and Cindy gave me an opportunity to join in full time at Ashford as an instructional specialist, to use, you know, to go backwards here a second, to use some of those skills that I had, you know, and also to match them to some things that she had in the organization. So I will forever be grateful, because here I am today presenting. Now, career plans require balance, you know, your ability, motivation, your professional development, education, work experience. You have all those things that you desire. And then over here, you know, are there career opportunities, economic conditions, change and unexpected detours, and job satisfaction on that end. So you have to kind of balance some of these things. And these are some of the things that Becky has, you know, referred to in her talk as she was sharing her insights. And she, you know, as you could see, she had to make adjustments. But, you know, there's going to be things that are going to happen that are unexpected. You know, Murphy's Law says what's possible to go wrong sometimes can. So one of the mantras that I've followed in my career, my successful beverage career with PepsiCo systems, and also here in academia, is pretty simple. You know, you want to, you know, you want to plan your work your plan. But, you know, you want to focus, work hard, keep balance, relax, because sometimes things do go wrong that are beyond your control, what's possible to go wrong. But you want to continue to move forward, you know, with influencing positively, impacting positively, and having some fun, impacting positive outcomes. So plan for those significant life changes, health issues. Sometimes it happens, and you can see them, and you got to make adjustments. You know, the income changes, the work-life education balance, the external forces, the factors, the market, the economy, you know, the locus of control. If you look at external forces and internal forces, you know, some things are just beyond our control, but we can control where we're going and what we're doing. And just like Becky mentioned here, took her 35 years to complete her degree. Well, I have to tell you something, that is the same story for me. I wanted to play baseball when I was younger. I went to Lewis University. I did a year. And the next thing, I came out, and the baseball career didn't work out too well. So I went to work for Joyce Beverages 7-Up. I bought an independent distributorship. In 11 years, I went to PepsiCo, and then I became a DM. And I worked my way up the ladder, sales manager, Aurora, Chicago. Next thing you know, I had a division, and this whole thing just took off. And my boss said, go back and finish what you never got a chance to finish. So in 1993, I got my undergrad, business administration. I got my master's in 2003. So why do I tell you that? Because never, never, never give up. You know, continue to persist, continue to work hard, continue to go after your passions, and love what you do. And I love what I do. I love what I do in higher ed. It parallels what I did in my past career. But anyway, you can see that persistence pays off. Plan for change with alternative career plans. You know, in business, we call them contingency plans. So, you know, what are some options you can have if this happens or that happens? Hobbies can be turned into businesses. Diversity, your education with multiple degrees, certifications. Be open to a lifetime of continuous learning. Tackle projects that no one else wants to do. So, you heard Becky's example. You know, she was positive. She said, I'll take that challenge. Well, Becky, I have to tell you, when you were talking like that, I had the same things in my Pepsi career. In my first promotion to general manager of the North Chicago operation, I think I got that because a lot of folks didn't want to go because it was a huge challenge. I took it and successfully turned that business around. And the next thing you know, that led to back to the biggest facilities and so forth. So serendipity and serendipitous moments do occur when you're engaged and you're positive. Human resource managers provide career planning support and guidance, as Becky had mentioned. The SHRM conference was an absolute pleasure to be at, Becky. to see how the massive amount of support that is there for human resources, the specialized business functions that the SHRM does and in your conference. And boy, I'll tell you, we're in good hands with see organizations like that and to see our own Forbes School of Business human resource undergrad and masters. It prepares future managers so well. But connect to these career planning resources that are part of it. Look for the internal opportunities on the websites. Search for external opportunities. Identify job satisfaction factors for a successful career. Now, some points on career planning, just a few things to remember. And again, our goal is not to have you absorb everything here and remember it all, but we're hoping, our hope is that you walk away maybe with 2 or 3 new ideas, some 2 or 3 new insights that you might go, boy, that triggered a thought or something you'd done before, and it'll help you focus. And again, you'll also have this presentation on the video. A career, I used to call it occupational progress within a lifetime. And this definition by Ivanich of our human resource text, one that I taught from early in my career, a career is a pattern of work-related experiences and activities over the span of a person's work life. For example, the job positions, job duties, the decisions and experiential learning they gain, the subjective interpretation of work-related events. I think you've heard that from Becky and I already, talking about how we interpreted our careers. Now, one thing that I always like to tell folks that I mentor and influence, you know, whether it was at Pepsi or here, is kind of realize that when you start something, you know, you're not going to go right to the top. You got to work hard, you got to earn it, you got to experience some things. Some things take time. But if you keep these things top of mind, it's good to know, and you can adjust your expectations. So for example, when you get hired, you know, usually stage 1, it's an apprenticeship. You know, you're in there, you've got important needs, you know, you want to feel safe, secure, physiologically. You're expected to show competence in learning and following directions. I'm going to use my instructional specialist role that Cindy graciously allowed me to come into her department, which was so structured, so well, process-wise, et cetera. But it took me some time to kind of understand academia, the system, the flow, how things work. So, you know, but there was an expectation that I get along and I work within the department well, and then I connect with other departments and communicate. So make sure when you get a new job, there's an expectation there that we have to put forth too. We must be able to accept the psychological state of dependence. Okay. Now, when you move to stage 2, which is more advancement, now you're starting to think about your needs, your achievement, esteem, autonomy. You know, you want to be able to have those things. You want to demonstrate competence in a technical area. You're expected to be an independent contributor of ideas in the chosen. Now that continues to move, and let's say you move now into the maintenance phase. You've gotten through the 2. You're still working on those important needs, but now you start to become a mentor in the stage 1. And I'll tell you, through academia, I had Dr. Hope Gardena, I've had Cindy Combs, I've had so many people here, Dr. Mike Riley, Dr. Jim Jeremiah. Everyone has helped me in my progression here. I'm just talking in my recent career here at the end. And I have to tell you, you want to go to those mentors. And you know, and that's what I was doing when I was in stage 1. Can I get some time with you, please? Can I tell you how I perceive this or that? So I could grow. I could add more value to the organization. You want to assume responsibility for the work of others. So once you guys start to get where you're managing people, you know, you have to work with those people properly, and you've got some ownership for those outcomes. Now, as you really progress, and I've had this happen to me in the cycles and the places where I've been, I made it up to vice president, director of sales marketing, you know, and once I got to those levels, I felt pretty good, because I felt like, boy, in my career, I used to, you know, do an independent distributorship and did that for 10 years and worked with store-to-door delivery and making sales happen, you know, and working outside in all the channels and directly servicing and doing the work to this level, stage 4. And stage 4 allowed me to put into practice some of those values and strategies and things that I could influence and develop. So So this is a level you try to achieve, and once you get there, know you're there, and know that enjoy it and keep developing and develop others. But you're shaping the direction of the organization itself. You're expected to play the roles of a manager, entrepreneur, idea generator. You know, you want to model the behavior you want others to do. You want to be positive, upbeat. Attention, directed to long-range strategic planning. You want to make sure you're doing all you can for the company. Now, the one thing I just wanted to just tell you, it's not on a slide here before I get into the references and conclude, is that it's simply John Holland's work, you know, for personality stages and types. And John Holland, he talks a little bit about the, and it's on the web, it's on the internet here, his theory, that most people are one of 6 personality types. They're either realistic. This is just something good to know. And you may want to go out on the internet and take this little test if you haven't discovered this before. You know, he says that you could be realistic type. You like to work with animals, tools, machines. You generally avoid social activities like teaching, healing, and informing others. Good skills in working with the tools and the mechanics and electrical drawings, machines. You could be that kind of person. And again, this is just matching your skills to a particular job. You may be the investigative type. You like to study and solve math or science problems. You generally avoid leading, selling, or persuading people. I think you can tell I'm an extrovert, and I like, you know, selling and putting forth my ideas to people. You could be the artistic type. You like to do creative activities like art, drama, dance, music, creative writing. Social, you like to do things to help people, like teaching, nursing, or giving first aid. Enterprising, you like to lead and persuade people to sell things and ideas. And then basically conventional. Now, the only reason I just share that with you is I think that's kind of a bonus to this particular presentation. And it does tie into, you know, as you're going on your search to kind of take a good look at yourself. Here's some references. Becky, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Bill, so much. Included in the references is a Society for Human Resource Management Career Path worksheet. This is a worksheet already put together so that you can just kind of fill in the blanks as you develop your career path or kind of get you started with that written document to guide you through your career. You know, I think if I could add anything here, I will say my 2 children took the conventional or the traditional route in college. I required them to get out of high school and go to college and get it done. Not that that's the perfect way or the right way for everyone. Obviously, I graduated from, I proudly graduated from Ashford University this February with a bachelor's in human resource management. And I was honest with my kids and I told them I did it backwards and it worked out well. Sometimes, though, that's not the norm. I will say I don't think I would change it and go back and do it differently because the experience has just been amazing. The on-the-job training and, you know, people who believed in my skill set and my work ethic and my abilities that were a match for particularly my career of 13 years with a global automotive manufacturer. All of those combinations are exactly what we're talking about today with keeping balance of what your needs are for you, what those changes are, the detours that require the adjustments, and the balance and compatibility that is required to pick the appropriate employers to make your career successful. It's really where the magic is. So I would be happy, Bill and I would be happy to answer any questions that any of you may have today. Okay, it looks like Allison.
Thank you so much, you guys. I did put that link in the chat window, and this will also be available for recording. Thank you so much, Becky and Bill, for your presentation and for all of you for joining in this session today. And please enjoy the rest of TLC. Have a great day.